Let's stop the charade. You're watching this because you're being ignored. You're the reliable choice, the safe text. The person they call when their first choice is busy. You think you're being a good person by staying available. Machiavelli would call you a servant. In the Shadow Mind Lab, we don't value nice. We value power. You've spent your life building a pedestal for people who treat you like floorboards, and you're wondering why they aren't looking down at you with desire. I am going to show you how to make anyone obsessed with you by burning that pedestal to the ground. I'm giving you 5 laws of dark psychology that flip the script so violently, they won't just miss you, they will become addicted to your approval. We'll start with the illusion of scarcity, but if you make it to the end, I'll reveal the final law of necessary cruelty. It's the most dangerous tool in this lab, and once you use it, there is no going back. If you have a weak stomach, leave now. This isn't a how-to for the desperate. This is a blueprint for the sovereign. Stop being a footstool and start being a fixation. Let's begin. 1. The illusion of scarcity. Niccolò Machiavelli, the master of political pragmatism. Once observed, men are so simple and so much conditioned by their present needs that he who deceives will always find someone who lets himself be deceived. But the most profound deception in human dynamics isn't a spoken lie. It is the strategic management of your own presence. In The Prince, Machiavelli explains that a ruler who is always visible becomes common. A ruler who is selectively absent becomes a legend. To make someone obsessed, you must stop being a constant in their life and start being a phenomenon. You must understand that value is not determined by utility, but by rarity. Let's look at the architecture of your current failure. You believe that, by being available, you are building a foundation of trust and intimacy. You think that responding to a text in 30 seconds, answering every call on the first ring, and clearing your schedule the moment they show a flicker of interest is showing commitment. In reality, you are committing a slow-motion social suicide. By being consistently available, you have effectively crashed your own market value. In economics, when supply is infinite, the price drops to 0. You have become a commodity, like the air they breathe or the sidewalk they walk on. Do people appreciate the air? Only when they are suffocating. By making your presence a guaranteed constant, you have removed the thrill of the hunt and replaced it with the boredom of certainty. You have taught them that your time has no cost, your life has no other priorities, and your attention is a free resource. You aren't a partner or a pursuit. You are a safety net. And humans don't fantasize about safety nets. They use them and forget they exist. The law is absolute. Presence diminishes fame. Absence augments it. To create obsession, you must move from being a utility to being a luxury. Luxury is defined by the difficulty of its acquisition. You must weaponize the phantom presence. This is the art of occupying their mind, precisely because you are not in their sight. The human brain is an evolutionary machine designed to solve puzzles. When you are present, the puzzle is solved. When you vanish, deliberately, strategically, and without a subordinate's explanation, the brain enters a state of high alert. It begins to loop. It begins to ask, where are they? Who are they with? Why hasn't my phone vibrated? This is the zygonic effect at work. The psychological phenomenon where people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. By withdrawing your presence before they are full, you leave a loop open in their psyche. You become an unfinished sentence in their head. If you have a routine, morning texts, Friday dinners, nightly calls, shatter it. Not once, but randomly. Consistency is the enemy of obsession. By breaking the pattern, you force their brain out of autopilot and into a state of hyper-awareness regarding you. When you withdraw, do not do it out of anger. Anger is just another form of attention. Withdraw with a cold, professional indifference. If they ask where you've been, your answer must be vague and focused on your own sovereign mission. You weren't busy, you were engaged. Use the 3-2-1 rule. For every 3 bits of validation they seek, gig them 1. Leave the other 2 hanging in the void. Make them work for the payoff of your attention. You are shifting the power dynamic from you, chasing their approval, to them auditioning for yours. You are becoming the prince who is heard of, but rarely seen. The one whose arrival is an event that stops the room, not a habit that is ignored. You must become the person they have to check in with, rather than the person who is always checking on them. When you are absent, their imagination will build a version of you that is far more perfect, far more powerful, and far more addictive than any reality could ever be. You are no longer a person. You are a myth. 2. The strategy of intermittent terror. Machiavelli, in his chillingly pragmatic discourse on power, posed the ultimate question of human governance. Is it better to be loved than feared, or feared than loved? While the modern world clings to the delusion that love is the ultimate bond, Machiavelli saw through the veil. He concluded that it is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation, which owing to the baseness of men is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment, which never fails. In the architecture of obsession, fear is not a threat of violence. It is the existential dread of losing your approval. To be obsessed over, you must become the source of both their greatest pleasure and their deepest anxiety. You believe that consistency is the hallmark of a healthy connection. You have been fed the lie that being a rock, a stable presence, and a reliable partner is the way to win a heart. You think that by providing a steady stream of kindness, you are making yourself indispensable. In the cold reality of the lab, we call this emotional flatlining. By being consistently kind, you have effectively neutralized the human brain's reward system. The human mind is not designed to appreciate what is constant. It is designed to notice change. When you provide the same level of warmth every single day, you become background noise. You are the static on the radio, constant, predictable, and eventually tuned out. Your unconditional love isn't a gift. It's a permission slip for them to stop trying. You have removed stakes. They know that no matter how they treat you, no matter how much they neglect you, the rock will still be there. You aren't a romantic interest. You are a piece of furniture. And nobody's obsessed with a chair. They only notice it when it's missing. And even then, they just buy a new one. The law is intermittent reinforcement, known here as the strategy of intermittent terror. To create an addiction, you must become a variable, not a constant. In behavioral psychology, the most powerful way to condition a subject is not through continuous rewards, but through a variable ratio schedule. Think of a gambler at a slot machine. If the machine never paid out, he would walk away. If it paid out every single time, he would grow bored and leave. But because it pays out unpredictably, he is trapped in a loop of just one more try. He becomes obsessed with the machine because his brain is chasing the dopamine spike of the unexpected win. You must become that slot machine. Start by giving them everything they crave. Be the most charismatic, attentive, and intellectually stimulating version of yourself. Make them feel like the center of a very small, very exclusive universe. This is the hook. You are establishing the value of your approval. You are showing them what the sun feels like. Just as they become comfortable, just as they begin to take that warmth for granted, you must withdraw it. Not because of a fight, not because you are angry. Anger implies they still have power over your emotions. Instead, you move into a state of polite indifference. You become cold, distant, and unreachable. Your responses become short. Your gaze is neutral. You are physically there, but your soul has left the room. This is where the obsession takes root. In the silence of your indifference, their mind will begin to manufacture horrors. They will ask themselves, what did I do? Why did they change? How do I get that warmth back? They are now in a state of cognitive dissonance. To resolve the pain of your coldness, they will begin to perform for you. They will try harder, text more, and seek your validation with a desperation they never knew they possessed. Once they have reached a peak of effort, once they have truly labored to earn your smile, you give it back. A flash of that high-intensity warmth. This reward will trigger a dopamine release 10 times more powerful than before because it was preceded by the terror of losing you. You are conditioning them to associate your approval with survival. You are no longer just a person. You are the regulator of their emotional equilibrium. By fluctuating between the Prince of Light and the Prince of Shadows, you create a psychological roller coaster that they cannot get off. They will spend their every waking moment trying to decode your mood, trying to stay on your warm side, and fearing the moment the sun goes down again. That is not love. That is obsession. And as Machiavelli knew, the person who controls the fear controls the person. 3. The mirror of desired self. Machiavelli, in his ruthless assessment of human nature, observed, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions. But the most sophisticated deception is not a lie told about the world. It is a lie told about the person standing right in front of you." Machiavelli understood that everyone, from the peasant to the Pope, carries a carefully constructed image of who they wish they were. To make someone obsessed, you must stop being a person with your own needs and start being a mirror for their greatest illusions. You must become the only place in the world where their idealized self is actually real. Your current failure is a product of your own ego. You enter social dynamics, wanting to be seen. You want them to know your stories, your accomplishments, your sense of humor, and your values. You spend your dates and your conversations waiting for a gap in their speech so you can insert a piece of yourself. In the lab, we call this competitive narcissism. You believe that sharing is how you connect. It isn't. When you talk about yourself, you are competing with them for the most precious resource in the universe: attention. Every second you spend describing your life is a second they spend feeling unheard. You think you're being vulnerable, but to their subconscious, you're just a noise. Humans are fundamentally we are the protagonists of our own internal cinema, and everyone else is just an extra auditioning for a role. By trying to be the main character in their presence, you are forcing them to be a spectator, and no one becomes obsessed with someone who makes them feel like a supporting act. The Loy's identity anchoring through narcissistic reflection. To create obsession, you must perform a psychological heist. You must steal their identity and hand it back to them wrapped in gold. Most people walk through the world feeling profoundly misunderstood. They have a public self, the version that goes to work, pays bills and follows the rules, and a secret self, the version that believes they are actually more creative, more rebellious, more intellectual, or more powerful than anyone realizes. The world constantly crushes the secret self. The world tells them they are ordinary. If you become the only person who validates the secret self, you become more than a lover. You become a necessity. You become their drug. Stop talking. Enter a conversation with the cold, diagnostic focus of a surgeon. Listen not for the facts they are telling you, but for the gaps. Listen for the things they complain about. If they say, "Everyone thinks I'm just a corporate shark, but I really care about art," they have just handed you the keys to their soul. Once you identify their idealized self, anchor it. Use phrases that imply you have a special sight that others lack. Say, "It's strange. Most people probably see you as public self, but I can see that there's this secret self-intensity in you that you're hiding. Why do you let them misinterpret you?" Don't just compliment their strengths. Validate their darkness or their misunderstood traits. If they feel they are too much for others, tell them that others are simply too little for them. You are becoming the co-conspirator in their ego. When they are with you, they must feel like the version of themselves they always dreamed of being. If they want to feel powerful, your body language must be submissive but intelligent. If they want to feel nurtured, your presence must be a fortress. You are not a person. You are a customized environment built to sustain their ego. By doing this, you create a psychological dependency. When they leave your presence, they return to a world that treats them as ordinary. They start to feel dimmer without you. They will become obsessed with you because you are the only mirror that shows them their golden self. They aren't addicted to you. They are addicted to the person they become when they are with you. As Machiavelli knew, people will follow any leader or any lover who makes them feel like the hero of their own story. You have stopped being a partner and have become the keeper of their identity. Let's take a breath and pause for a moment. Most people watching this have already clicked away. They found the first 3 laws too dark or too manipulative. They've scurried back to their comfortable lives of being ignored and undervalued, clutching their morals like a shield against the reality of human nature. But you're still here. That tells me one of 2 things. Either you are a slow learner, or you're the kind of person who understands that ethics is often just a word weak people use to keep the strong in check. If you've realized that the world doesn't give you what you deserve, it gives you what you negotiate. Then you belong in the inner circle. click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Not because I need your follow, but because you need the edge. Consider it your first lesson in Machiavellian alliance. Align yourself with the source of power, or remain a casualty of it. Join the Shadow Mind Lab. Let's see if you have the stomach for the final 2 laws. They aren't for the faint of heart. Now, back to the architecture of their obsession. 4. The calculated burden. Machiavelli, the architect of cold realism, understood a fundamental truth about human bonding that most experts are too sentimental to admit. He wrote in The Prince, "The nature of men is such that they are as much bound by the benefits they confer as by those they receive." This is a staggering reversal of everything you have been taught. You think that by serving others, you bind them to you. Machiavelli knew better. Gratitude is a burden that people seek to cast off. Investment is a bond they seek to protect. To make someone obsessed, you must stop being the provider and start being the debt. You must move from being the one who gives to the one who demands. Let's dismantle your current strategy of service. You believe that being useful is the path to being loved. You're the one who drives them to the airport, pays for the expensive dinners, listens to the 3-hour venting sessions about their toxic ex, and fixes their broken sink. You believe you are building a credit of favor that they will eventually repay with devotion. In the lab, we call this the martyr's delusion. By doing everything for them, you are actually making yourself disposable. When you give too much, you create a power imbalance where the other person feels inherently smaller. Humans don't want to be reminded of their debts. They want to be reminded of their power. Furthermore, because they haven't paid for your presence with their own effort, they have no skin in the game. If they leave you tomorrow, they lose a servant, not an investment. You are like a free app on a phone, easy to download, but the first thing to be deleted when the storage gets full. People don't value what is free. They value what costs them a piece of themselves to acquire. The law is the sunk cost fallacy, executed through the calculated burden. This is a cognitive bias, where a person is psychologically incapable of abandoning a relationship because they have invested too much time, energy, or emotion into it, regardless of the current return. To make someone obsessed, you must force them to buy in to you. You must become a project they have worked on for so long that walking away would feel like admitting they wasted their life. You aren't building a romance. You are building an emotional skyscraper that is too big to fail. Start with micro-demands. Do not ask for money or sex. Ask for their competence. Ask them to help you understand a topic they are an expert in. Ask them to help you organize a small part of your life. Every time they help you, their brain has to justify the labor. The internal dialogue is, "I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't care about them." They're literally talking themselves into loving you through their own effort. Create scenarios where they have to go out of their way for you. If you're meeting, let them choose the place, but then ask them to pick you up. If they offer to help, let them. Never say, "Oh, it's okay, I'll do it myself." That is the phrase of the lonely. Say, "I'd actually really appreciate it if you handled that for me." This is the darker edge. Share a secret vulnerability, something that requires them to provide you with emotional support. Make them your confidant. Once they have spent nights staying up to save you or support you, they are pot committed. They have invested their emotional labor into your stability. Now, if they think about leaving, they aren't just leaving a person. They are leaving the version of themselves that worked so hard for you. They stay because the sunk cost is too high. They become obsessed with your success and your presence because your failure would mean their effort was in vain. You have flipped the script. You are no longer the one chasing them, hoping they notice your kindness. You are the sovereign sitting on a throne they helped build. They stay because they have spent so much of their own currency on you that they can no longer imagine a world where you are you and the center of their balance sheet. You have turned their labor into their loyalty. As Machiavelli understood, a person is much more loyal to the fortress they helped defend than the one they were simply given. 5. The final law of necessary cruelty. Niccolò Machiavelli, in the most famous passage of The Prince, wrote, "Upon this, a question arises, whether it be better to be loved than feared, or feared than loved. It may be answered that one should wish to be both, but because it is difficult to unite them in one person, it is much safer to be feared than loved." In the lab, we take this further. To create a lifelong obsession, You must master the sovereign's edge. You must possess the capacity for a specific, calculated coldness that proves you are not a prisoner of your own emotions. You must show them that while you may choose to love them, you do not need to love them. You are currently trapped in the pleaser's prison. You believe that the ultimate proof of love is total, unwavering loyalty, the kind that stays through every insult, every neglect, and every disrespect. You think that by showing them you will never leave. You are providing them with the security they need to love you back. In the cold reality of the lab, this is called dignity suicide. When you signal to someone that you are incapable of leaving, that your love is unconditional and your boundaries are flexible, you have just surrendered your value. Humans do not respect what they can abuse without consequence. By promising to always be there, you have effectively told them that your presence is a right they own, not a privilege they must earn. You have removed the stakes from the game. If there is no threat of loss, there is no motivation for obsession. People do not obsess over the sun rising every morning. They obsess over the lightning bolt that might hit once in a lifetime. By being too kind, you have made yourself a boring certainty. And as Machiavelli knew, certainty is the death of desire. The law is the ultimate withdrawal, fueled by necessary cruelty. This is not about being a bully or being abusive. True cruelty is not loud or violent. True cruelty is the cold, silent indifference of a sovereign who has decided you are no longer worth their time. To make someone obsessed, tame must know, deep in their marrow, that you have an edge. They must know that there is a line in the sand, and if they cross it, you will vanish, not because you are hurt, but because you are done. This is the fear Machiavelli spoke of. The fear of the void where you used to be. You must establish a clear, non-negotiable standard for how you are treated. This shouldn't be a long, emotional speech. It should be a quiet, matter-of-fact statement. I don't accept being spoken to that way. I don't wait for people who are late. The moment, the very second, that boundary is crossed, you must execute the withdrawal. You do not argue. You do not explain your feelings. You do not give them the satisfaction of seeing you upset. You simply remove your presence. You stop texting. You cancel the plans. You become a ghost when they inevitably come crawling back, and they will. Because the sunk cost of Law 4 and the golden mirror of Law 3 are still pulling them, you must meet them with a terrifying neutrality. You aren't mad, which would mean they still control you. You are simply elsewhere. You treat them with the same polite distance you would a stranger. If you choose to let them back in, it must be on your terms, and the price must be their absolute submission to the boundary they broke. You are conditioning them to realize that your love is a high-stakes environment. One slip, and the prince is gone. This creates a state of permanent alert, because they have seen your necessary cruelty. Because they know you are capable of being cold, their obsession becomes a form of loss aversion. They will spend their lives trying to stay in your good graces, not because you are nice, but because the alternative is an emptiness they cannot bear. You have shown them that you are the master of your own soul. You have proven that your self-respect is more important than their company. And in the world of the shadow mind, that makes you the most attractive thing in existence. You aren't just a person they love. You are a sovereign they are terrified to lose. You now have the full 5-law blueprint. You have the tools to turn a simple attraction into a devastating, lifelong haunting. But remember the warning of the Shadow Mind Lab. These laws are not for the weak. You cannot half-measure Machiavellianism. If you use these laws and then retreat into your nice habits, you will look like a fool and lose all leverage. You must decide. Do you want to be the reliable person who is eventually forgotten? Or do you want to be the sovereign whose presence is a drug and whose absence is a trauma? The blueprint is in your hands. The door to the lab is open. Subscribe to the Shadow Mind Lab to unlock the deeper layers of the human psyche. The game is already being played. You might as well be the one who wins.